Hello, I'm Michael Rega, and we are predicting hurricane disasters, which is something that is huge for emergency management professionals because for the first time, we have an open source tool that can predict with a high degree of probability when a hurricane disaster will occur, which is something that many researchers have looked into, especially with hurricanes and earthquakes and other disaster-causing events. So this research, we took an open source tool, dynamic ambulance deployment, which is used throughout the country, has become an industry standard, and it has a 75 to 76% probability in predicting where emergencies occur. So taking that, we decided to try to test if hurricanes could be forecasted using the same model. Because this is a repeating type of event, we know it occurs every year. We know that because we also have the hurricane season, which is 6 months in length, which is something that's very long. Everyone gets tired of waiting. We're waiting for the next disaster. We're waiting for the hurricane. We're trying to get resources ready. We're trying to eliminate that or help reduce that to a certain degree here because the hurricane season is 6 months. That's a long time, especially if you're trying to hold your breath. So with our study, we took two types of studies looking at either the total average of 24 years or the peak average between, we took still 24 years, but we broke it up into two groups of 12 to find the averages and standard deviations. And we looked at those two because those are the two main industry tools, computational tools that are used by ambulance services. So what we found was, yes, we can predict hurricane disasters within the continental United States with the same percentages or near same percentages as that of the industry standards of dynamic ambulance deployment, which is huge because now we have a tool. So we found here that everywhere above 72 to 77% was correct. It fell within one standard deviation of our predicted week, which means we went from 6 months down to 8 weeks of the highest likelihood of when a disaster will occur. We also reviewed our results and we found that it was statistically significant, which means that from what we looked at with our data, it was valid for our sample selections from the International Disaster Database and from FEMA. So that is highly significant. Now, obviously, we still had some near misses, black swan events for our research, but we do know as emergency management professionals, we have to have an all hazards plan. We are looking at just narrowing that window down of the highest probability. And see, that's got huge significance because we will be able to target our public service and education information to the public on a more narrow time frame when it would be most beneficial to them. And also when it would be most relevant and it allows them to remember it, to know what to do. It'll also allow our emergency planners to be able to focus when our budgeting. It'll provide situational awareness to our leadership and to our stakeholders, whether it's our internal stakeholders, external stakeholders like NGOs. But this has now allowed us to understand and forecast when disasters might occur, which is something that is hugely important and something that emergency management has needed for a long time. And most of all, it's an open source tool that uses Microsoft Excel, which means any of us can use it. Any questions?